Hello everybody, welcome back to the great state of Montana. This is the Caribbean Cowboy. First off, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a joyous New Year. And I hope everybody does well and prospers in the upcoming New Year. You know, the topic of my video today is going to be about old-timers. Yeah, some people are going to kind of look at me a little funny when I say that, but that is the new term that a lot of the younger people are giving to guys like me. You know, guys that are starting to hit that half a century mark, 50 years old or close to it, or maybe even a little older. I was at a gun shop here, a few days back, and I had received my mother's Colt Commander when she passed away, and I wanted to get a nice leather holster to put that gun in for my everyday carry. Well, when I went into that store, I had this 20-something young fellow make a remark. He says, only old guys carry leather holsters and 1911s. He said something along the lines of, you know, technology has came a long way since the turn of the century. I looked at him and I just dryly said, well, guess I'll go shop on Amazon then if that's the way you feel. You know, and that kind of brings me to the topic of this video. That kind of annoys me. And I'm going to tell you why. I've got people that watch my gun channel that are truly knowledgeable people. I've got people like Black Powder Shooter 44, Plowboy's Ghost. Those guys are devout six-gun black powder shooters. And they are very proficient with their weaponry. I would not want to walk up to Plowboy's Ghost and insult him by calling him an old-timer because he's packing a 1873 pattern 45 Colt. I don't think he would probably have a sense of humor, and I might be wishing that I was someplace else when he stopped cutting loose on lead in my general direction. If Plowboy Ghost is watching, I appreciate you, buddy. You make some good videos. I enjoy watching every one of them, and I really like them. Black Powder Shooter 44, his are mostly cap and ball pistols. Okay, these were pre-cartridge revolvers. And he's really good with them. And then I have other people that I subscribe to on my gun channel that they're kind of the same way, whether they're 1911 guys or they're Beretta guys or Smith & Wesson guys, whatever the case may be. They're all proficient with their weapons. You know, I'm kind of one of these kind of guys, you know, I'll be kind of honest. I don't always run out and buy the biggest new deal that comes down the pipe. I mean, I have rifles and shotguns and pistols that are older than I am, and they still function and work great. I still manage to take them out shooting. I still take them hunting. They work just as well today as they did 50 years ago or more when they were made. They operate, function fine, and I've managed to kill or hit whatever I wanted to with them. But, you know, the younger people today, you know, they need to understand that if it wasn't for us old guys, half the stuff they have wouldn't exist. Old guys like John Moses Browning invented the 1911. Which is the granddaddy of all autoloaders. It was off the 1911 that everything else was based. You have Smith & Wesson that perfected the double-action revolver. Well, people still carry and use revolvers. You know, so when, you know, and that's just in the firearms world. Internet, cell phones, all this modern day stuff that all these young people take for granted, it was us old guys that invented it. So when these young people say, well, you old timers need to just get out of the way so we can invent newer and better stuff and stop being hung up on your antique firearms, you know, I think they better take a moment of pause and think for a second that one day they're going to be our age and some 20-something is going to look at them and say, well, why are you packing a Glock? You know, it's outdated. You know, the SIG is the new modern day weapon. You know, the military's had it for 30 years, yada, 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 yada. You know, I'm just picking on a Glock, but whatever. But if you can follow my train of thought here, you know, I was told at one time when I was a young man, you know, be careful of the words you use because they can come back to bite you. Well, the one thing I've learned in today's society is people open mouth, turn off brain. And they say a lot of things that, well, really makes people question their intelligence level, if you get my line of thought. But, you know, by calling me an old-timer, I'm an old-timer. I carry a 1911. I also carry 1873 45 Colt Peacemakers. And I carry a 1911 and a 38 Super. Now, by today's standards, those are period-dated firearms. But those period-dated firearms will still do the job today that they did back in the time that they were invented. And I still haven't figured out a way to cure dead, because they will still kill you just as dead as they did back then. So, you know, old-timers like me, yeah, will I carry my guns in a leather holster? You betcha. I don't like plastic holsters. They wear the finish off of guns. The thing I like about leather is it can be repaired. And it's also fancy and it goes with everything. Polymer pistols, do I have a problem with them? No. I do own a striker-fired polymer Car CW45. It's a nice little pistol. But, you know, just because I don't run down and buy the newest trend that comes down the pipe, that doesn't make me old or a curmudgeon or something like that. I just carry what I know works and has worked, and if I need to trust my life to it, no, it will work. So, you know, I just thought I'd bring that to you guys. You know, I've been hearing that term thrown around, you know. Oh, you know, here comes the old-timer, you know, carrying an old-fashioned gun and seems to think he knows everything. Well, let me give some of you young people a moment of pause. Us old guys didn't get old by being stupid. We've lived through a lot of things. We've seen a lot of things. We've heard a lot of things. And we pretty much just cut through all the bullshit and tell you directly. That's just the way it is. And you'll find out when you get to be our age, when you're talking to some 20-something and, you know, they're giving you a hard time and you finally just get to the point where you're like, look, this is just the way it is. So you can either accept it or not, your choice. But anyway, guys, I just thought I'd bring this little rant to you. I figured you might get a kick out of it. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with being considered an old-timer. Old-timers demand respect, because old-timers have been there, done that. And with that thought, this is the Carbine Cowboy saying, I'll see you next time.